يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما إنا عرضنا الأمانة على السماوات والأرض والجبال فأبين أن يحملنها وأشفقن منها وحملها الإنسان إنه كان ظلوما جهولا ليعذب الله المنافقين والمنافقات والمشركين والمشركات ويتوب الله على المؤمنين والمؤمنات وكان الله غفورا رحيما.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. اللهم صل على محمد وسلم. We give all praise to Allah Azza wa Jalla. We thank Him for His numerous and countless indeed blessings in our lives. Man yahdillah fahuwa muhtadi. Anyone guided by Allah is indeed guided, and if Allah has allowed anyone to stray, there is no one who could guide such a person aright. We thank Him for guiding us onto Sirat al-Mustaqim, that is the straight path which leads to none but His mercy. We pray Allah Azza wa Jalla to continuously bless Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, members of his household and companions in righteousness. May the peace and blessings of Allah be upon each and every one of us. Allahumma ameen. You're welcome unto all you who believe. This is the call to salvation. Alhamdulillah, today happens to be a very special one. Yes, we are connecting the past with the present and of course looking into the future, especially with those buttons on our fingertips. Yes, that will inform you about the topic for discussion today, inshallah. But just before then, let me quickly remind us that this is a good opportunity for you to invite friends and loved ones. Family members also should be invited. Please spread the words. Let the people know that indeed all you believe has started. Let me also remind us that we want to say a very big thank you to all our donors. We have a very special campaign that we are running now. It's a loan, but much details you will get to know on this program, inshallah. If it were you, and keep it locked on this particular channel. Invite friends, family members, inshallah, as we mark the 161 episode of All You Who Believe. As usual, our father, Fadlat Sheikh Professor Mashud Adibai Badiri, will join us very soon. He's already in the house, inshallah. Yes, he is the one to moderate the program today, inshallah. Let me also remind us that on the 23rd and 24th of this month, inshallah, we shall be having Visit My Mosque project. We throw open our mosque for viewers, for visitors, for people who want to know about Islam. That is our little way of spreading the words of Allah. Inshallah, keep it locked. Note the dates, 23rd and 24th. This is a project that we do annually with MCB, that is Muslim Council for Britain, inshallah. Let me just keep it short right now as I invite one of the students of Kent Road Mosque, Markaz, in the person of my dear brother Abdurrahman Sanusi, who will recite from the glorious Quran, and after that, we continue with the program. Recitation. Bismillah, Abdurrahman.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم عبس وتولى أن جاءه الأعمى وما يدريك لعله يزكى أو يذكر فتنفعه الذكرى أما من استغنى فأنت عنه تلهى وما عليك ألا يزكى وأما من جاءك يسعى وهو يخشى فأنت عنه تلهى كلا إنها تذكرة فمن شاء ذكره في صحف مكرمة مرفوعة مطهرة بأيدي سفرة كرام بررة قتل الإنسان ما أكفره من أي شيء خلقه من نطفة خلقه فقدره ثم السبيل يسره ثم ماته فأكبره ثم إذا شاء أنشره كلا لما يقض ما أمره فلينظر الإنسان إلى طعامه أنا صببنا ماء صبا ثم شققنا الأرض شقا فأنبتنا فيها حبا وعنبا وقضبا وزيتونا ونخلا وحدائق غبا وفاكهة وأبا متاعا لكم ولأنعامكم فإذا جاءت الصاخة يوم يعرف المرء من أخيه وأمه وأبيه وصاحبته وبنيه لكل امرئ منهم يومئذ شأن يغنيه وجوه يومئذ مسفرة ضاحكة مستبشرة ووجوه يومئذ لديها غبرة ترهقها قترة أولئك هم الكفرة الفجرة.
MashaAllah, MashaAllah, Sadaqah al-Azim. Thank you very much, Abdul Rahman. We pray Allah Azza wa Jalla to bless you with that recitation from the Glory to the Quran, as well as those of us who also listen. We pray Allah Azza wa Jalla to bless your teachers as well as your parents. Allahumma ameen. May the Holy Quran be the light for you, guiding light for you in this world and the hereafter. Allahumma ameen. Thank you very much. We hope to invite you very soon for another recitation. With that, we come to the real core of the program today. We shall be having a break, inshallah, around 7:30 for Salatul Maghrib. But before then, let me hand over to our father, our professor of law from School of Oriental and African Studies, Professor Moshood Adebayo Padiri. Bismillah, sir.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم جزاكم الله خير الجزاء Madam Hassan for starting us off. And as you rightly mentioned, we'll be breaking at 7:30 for Maghrib. And then when we come back, inshallah, we will stay until around 8:30. And then we'll also have a discussion about readjusting our time because of the time for Maghrib. After that, let me also welcome every one of us to this week's edition of OE Who Believe. Today, we have a very special package, as mentioned by Brother Lawali Hassan. It's, about one of the miracles of, the 20th century or 21st century, really, the social media, the internet. The internet, social media means different things to different people. Some see it as the bane of human society today, some see it as a booby trap, and some see it as the greatest benefit. See, during the pandemic, if not for social media, perhaps maybe all communications will have been shut down, So it's just trying to find a balance. So today we'll be looking at social media ethics and challenges. We talk about it all the time. And perhaps the best people to discuss this are our youth. So today we have, 3 youths from within our community. I'm really privileged to be introducing them to have this discussion. The first person I'll be introducing is Brother Lawal B. Olaiwola. He's a project manager and well-educated. He has an MA in Peace and Conflict Resolution. And the second person will be Sister Kamilat Boyilade Adeshokan. She has a Bachelor of Science degree in Fashion Design from the University for Creative Arts, UCA, Lepsum. She is a businesswoman now. She's the founder of a clothing brand and also working in financial sector. And the third, and not the least, person is Brother Masood Ramadan Hassan. He's currently a student in mechanical engineering at Nottingham Trent University. So inshallah, our a panel of 3 youth will be discussing this important topic on social media, the ethics of it, and the challenges. So let me welcome every one of you. You are most welcome to this program, and I pray that Allah count this as an act of ibadah for every one of you. Now, as I said, we will use the first 20 minutes. By 7:30, we'll stop, inshallah ta'ala. We have a number of questions, which we will have a general discussion around. And then perhaps when we come back, we also usually have questions and answers from the audience. I mean, they'll be throwing this in, and we will be discussing those questions as well. So, as I did mention, the social media means different things to different people. A lot of it today, people want to talk about the negatives. A lot of the time, parents particularly, we always want to, point at the negatives. But perhaps, we need to have a discussion about what are the benefits? Are there any benefits in social media? And if there are any benefits in it, what are some of the ways it can be used beneficially? Everything has its good sides and bad sides. So let us look at possible benefits. And if there are no benefits at all, the youth there's a new word in town now. We are having our graduations at SOAS. The new buzzword is youthquake. Youthquake is the new buzzword that the youth should, create a tsunami to change the world. So let's have your views on what are the benefits of social media and what are some of the ways it can be used beneficially. Let me start with, our sister Kamilat first to see what she thinks. Bismillah.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Jazakallah khair for actually inviting me to this event. May Allah accept it as an act of ibadah from all of us. Ameen. Thank you so much. So yeah, alhamdulillah, my name is Camila, and as Professor Baduri kindly introduced me, I'm somebody who has been building a brand for quite some time. I actually, as Professor Baduri said, that I actually studied fashion design. You study something that is your passion, something that, in my opinion, you can still make your parents proud. And I wanted to do it professionally. So I grew up as a person who has been helping my own mother sell. I've always tried to help her. I've always tried to learn from her. And, studying fashion, they give you theory, but do people like what you sell? Do people like what you design? So that's what spurred the passion in the studying what I wanted to study. And, out in the real world, you really get to learn the practice. So, and you get to be proud of something that you're doing on your own, as well as an income in the financial sector, which I'm currently doing as well. So in the process of doing this brand, social media is a big thing for me. And I started off with actually, well, let me just say for the next 5 minutes, I'll stick to 5 minutes. I'll share my experience and do my best to address some points in the questions that I know that I'll be asked about. And if anything isn't clear at all, please don't hesitate to stop me, and I'll try my best to clarify. So here goes. So in my research, a writer called Tony Chalkley suggests that social media, or media in itself, is another source of knowledge, and it allows us to learn about the world beyond what we physically experience, and provides a window on the world that is beyond our community and locale. So when you think of social media, it's an international community from all over the world. Because when I started, I'm 33, so in the 90s, when I started using Facebook, for example, it was a way of communicating with my friends that I had broken up with from secondary school onto college, and we kept contact through Facebook before Instagram entered the picture. So using something like Facebook later Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, as we're using now. It allows us to share events like this from distant places and from the comfort of a lot of our homes. And it's a means of mass communication and it allows ordinary people to contribute to a story and to be heard. So one of the things that I study in fashion design is contextual studies. You have the theory and you have the history behind fashion. And what I analyzed in my dissertation is that in 2015, H&M, which is one of the major brands that we probably all know, was criticized in Johannesburg for actually speaking out against a customer who observed in one of their stores that they do not post Black people in any of their marketing campaigns. This lady went on Twitter, social media platform, and said that most of your posters in stores do not have any Black models. Please work on that. What did H&M say? They responded by saying to that customer, we want our marketing to show our fashion in an inspiring way, to convey a positive feeling. So I take this example because some may realize that, or some may think that, you know, H&M, they don't care about what you think. If you don't like something, you walk away. But a massive company like H&M responding in a way that may seem to Black people or people of color that we don't convey positive images. So this scenario is a negative way of publicizing a fashion brand like H&M. And you actually get to see on a platform like Twitter what these brands may think about people that actually give their company and make them grow. So that's one way of seeing it. A lot of people have about
thank you very much. I mean, you really mentioned very important points regarding the benefits, your own brand, for example, and also perhaps, I mean, that reaction to H&M. Now I will move on to, the next discussant. But before I do that, I mean, I'm really sorry. I called you Camila. You said your name is Camila. You know, that's
so,
transliteration.
Don't worry about
Camila,
it.
it's a variation.
Don't worry about it.
Camila is a correct name. Camila is also a correct name.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
the emphasis here is on the I rather than on the A. So I need to correct that. So Camila, thank you very much. Let me now move to Brother Lawal Olaiwola. What's your own perspective on the benefits? And if there are any, what's the best way to acquire them?
Yeah, assalamu alaikum to everyone listening, and congratulations for this session happening, and it's a way to interact. And may Allah reward everyone that's contributed to the success of this program. Yeah, so quickly, like every activity of human endeavor, there are always positives and negatives. So it then expounds which one do we want to promote more, as it is with every activity of human. So for me, if you look at the workplace, it's practically a market of interaction. So before there was social media, there were other mediums. There was the village square. There were quite a lot of ways that people socialize and interact. So it's a stage in life that have come to stay, that we must now as human beings accommodate and then exploit the benefit of it, which largely we can look at it from the angle of, the positive largely, the money-making venture, which people in the production, they can only try their best. They are not making as much as the media has portrayed now. There's hardly no business in this world that is thriving that doesn't have that social media angle, possibly for marketing, for branding, for communication control, for whatever dimension you want to look at it at. So we have the money-making venture, and also we look at the social dynamics it brings upon human beings. We look at issue of composure, information seeking and sharing. The knowledge is pushing out there that without the presence of social media, many of us could be as ignorant as yesterday. So those are the things that we need to look at. But as it is, like I mentioned, we need to look at the balance beyond the money. What are the ethics guiding the kind of money you are making on social media? As Muslims, what is the position of alcohol, which if you go to social media and alcohol is the page you visit often, algorithm will bring it upon you at a different time. So there are many positives. We cannot just do without social media, but it needs moderation.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much, for putting, those points out there. Now, Masood has said, Do you want to top up on all these points that have been raised regarding the benefits?
I mean, yeah, I don't use social media in the ways like Sister Camilla does in like promoting businesses and all that kind of stuff. I'm more just a normal everyday user of social media, and even from my perspective as well, I mean, Brother Lawal also mentioned about the using it for business ventures and all of that kind of stuff. And from my perspective, yeah, all of those are benefits as well. But what social media does is it gives us the access to information and opportunities that we normally wouldn't have in our own small circles. Like we have access to people all around the earth, in countries across from where we are. So it makes it easier to connect with other people, and if we're looking in the right places, get opportunities that are not like easily accessible to us otherwise. So yeah, there's obviously where social media has been around for like decades now, and I feel like we're at the point where we're very experienced at this point in using it, and in gaining the the best aspects of it. And yeah, but obviously we also need to talk about some of the fitness and the challenges as well, so we'll probably get into that a bit later. But yeah, that's what I can react.
Thank you so much. I mean, from your perspective, you've been able to lay the foundation fact that, I mean, social media is beneficial in various ways. I mean, as Brother Lawal did mention, similar to everything in life, it has its positive side and the negative side. It's about balancing rather than, I mean, perhaps maybe saying that, well, we don't want to use it at all. Actually, from my own perspective, we cannot really, hardly can we say that we won't use social media at all. It's really very difficult now. We are all caught into it. Now, having established that, let us now look at, I mean, some of the issues that usually comes up and how we deal with it. Now, there are various kind of issues, that are usually raised, particularly in relation to young people. I mean, how they get caught within online, sucked into it. You find out that, I mean, there are so many softwares by which, I mean, parents can sort of, I mean, monitor their children in relation to using online material. I have my grandson with me. I mean, he's even much more, he's in primary school. He knows how to use many of these things even more than myself. I will be worried. I mean, we said, Grandpa, don't worry, I know what I'm doing. I don't know what you are doing. We need to monitor you. So, I mean, do you want to paint us the various kind of issues, that young people get caught up with online? I mean, what are some of the problematic issues that a young person needs to be aware of, so that, I mean, we don't really fall into the booby traps? Let me start with, I mean, Brother Lawal.
Okay, yeah, thank you. There's like every aspect of program or system, there are ethics and guidelines that we all need to. And to start with, I would keep it a tripod position, which is for social media, we have to keep our dignity intact, respect, and privacy. And when we look at those three fundamental aspects, when you keep your dignity, you know what you feed on, you know what you push out also. In the same vein, when you give respect, many times you receive it. And the same way, this one has to border on security largely, and which is the issue of privacy. So these three components are what modulate our activity on social media per se. For instance, at every time, people share more than they should on social media. Let's assume, I could have a plan to be out at a location with my family or friends, and the next thing I post, let's say I'm leaving Edmonton, I'm going to Kent, I'll be there for 1 week. I've opened the window. That sent a message to somebody that my house will be vacant for 1 week.
That's right.
So I've by myself altered my security framework that ordinarily people might not know. And at the same time, yes, I just find it as a way of expressing myself. I'm living happy. It could help maintain my social and mental capability as human. But at the same time, what is the implication of my action of posting all the goodies of life to somebody else? So there's a dimension of dignity, there's a dimension of respect. And when I even portray those positives that I'm enjoying in life, in what way did I portray it? Is it the pepper them noise that we say? Or we're just saying, yeah, alhamdulillah, we're doing fine, we've got so close to enjoy life and all of that. So youths are caught up in exposing themselves largely. We need to modulate the issue of privacy, respect people, and then be respected. But having said that, there's now the big one, which has to do with mental health, and that is anxiety is always the starting point. When you don't expect, you don't get disappointed. And with that, we need to now define the essence of role model and how we define role modelship as regards to social media. So yeah, if I feel a few more minutes.
Thank you very much, for highlighting those 3 points. Now, a lot of the time we talk about issue of privacy, but is social media really private? Can you really hide completely? Somebody is seeing you somewhere. In that regard, let me go to Masood here in relation to this. If you want to talk a little bit more on the issue of, privacy, and perhaps maybe how, the limits of it, and also perhaps because people need to be aware as well, that look, no matter how you guide yourself, social media, you are exposed. You are being monitored by somebody somewhere. So, Masood, do you want to, say something on that?
Yeah. With social media, there are obviously like things that you can do to kind of improve your privacy. Like for example, with Instagram, you can create private accounts. You can on with Snapchat as well, you can only add people that you know and all that kind of thing. So there are like ways in which to kind of protect yourself on social media. But that's the thing though, like even if you're letting certain people that you think that you trust see like into your life.
Oh, it appears you have connection issues here. Okay, let me Camila, if you can take off from there. It seems Masood's communication has no. So Camila, you can step in here.
Okay, so the negative aspects that I want to pinpoint is that, as I said, I was born in the 90s. So the childhood that I had was outside of social media. So the ability to engage with people who are not on your phone, the skills to be able to present yourself, the ability to actually express yourself honestly and think about what you're saying that may offend other people, because sometimes as a result, people use that against you and use that and pinpoint, as I think it was Brother Lawal who was saying that when you put yourself out there too much, people know where you work. So it's easy to actually find out who you are and actually, I've heard people online contacting other people's workplaces. For one reason or the other, they may have offended somebody or spoken too honestly. And when you're dealing with people from all over the world, the mindset and things that people are going to share and tell you are going to vary. It's almost like you can't win. Everyone has a reason to disagree with you, and that's okay. But are you able to say that, okay, these are people and this is a user on a digital mobile that you can actually uninstall and leave and actually go outside and experience the world and not feel that, this is awkward. I don't know how to be confident. I don't know how to go outside without my phone and have a picnic and go to the seaside. So I would say that negative aspects are actually thinking that this online world is an actual world that is going to dictate your decisions in some way or the other, or going to stop you from interacting with others. How about Muzmatch? How about other dating platform, single Muslimers? Are you able to talk to people? And if a person is looking for marriage without an app? I remember that when I was working with a lot of marriage organizations, that, I experienced using those apps. I experienced what it was like. But outside of that, are you able to actually talk about yourself and paint an honest picture that is somebody that can connect without your phone, or only use apps to actually talk to another person, whether it's Bumble, whether it's Single Muslimah, whether it's Muzmatch, whether it's the Salams app. So I would say that the negative aspect is that you're growing up in a world that TikTok, Instagram, YouTube is telling you, put on makeup at school, you have to use the right bag, that you have to be making your millions because this person did gaming online, and what are you doing with your life? I speak to young people at work. Well, I have the opportunity sometimes, and they talk about the pressures. This boy is 16, this boy is 17, and he's saying, when am I going to make my first millions? That pressure wasn't on me at that point in time. So because of people making it, whatever that means, making it online, you have the added pressure of, oh, what am I going to do? This person had 5 million views. This person has a podcast. How am I going to make my own million? Okay, how are you going to study? If social media shut down tomorrow, how are you going to do what you need to do outside of YouTube? So what are your skills? What are the things that you can develop outside of social media? Okay, so I'm not going to talk too much because Brother Masood was actually speaking. And
yes, it was. I mean, that's right. I mean, you were cut off there. So do you want to complete your thoughts? Yeah.
Yeah, I think I was just trying to make the point that like with regards to social media and so it's actually gone out of my head now. It's been a minute, but yeah, I think, can someone remind me like what the last?
Yes.
Okay.
Privacy.
Yeah,
You're talking
that's
about
fine.
privacy.
Okay,
Yeah,
go on, Lawal.
I was talking about privacy. Oh yeah, like I think that I just trying to make the point that with social media sometimes you can get into thinking that because we're in our rooms, we're in the privacy of our own house as well, like that almost like people can't see, or you can say anything, it can be brazen online, and there's almost no repercussions, and that kind of leads into what Sister Kamala was saying about, like, obviously when you're on social media and you're saying this, that, and other, you almost feel like there's no repercussions, but that's the thing.
Yeah.
We're always so
Okay, it
exposed.
appears that, I mean, perhaps maybe Masood's connect.
God damn.
We can hear you, Masood. It's kind of off now.
I mean, Camila was talking about the 1990s. In those days, when you are on a bus or on a train, you see that, I mean, a lot of people, almost everybody will be reading a book. They'll be reading a book. Today, I mean, if you look around, even in my class, I teach in the university, you see, I know some students, they'll go and sit at the back, completely at the back. I got to know, because usually I would stay in the front. Now I walk through the class, then you see people hiding their phones. I mean, what of the addiction? Some children wake up first thing in the morning, social media. Late, even they don't want to go to bed at night. You have to take the phone from them. You have to take the iPad from them. Let us talk about the addiction. It's a very big thing. And how do we overcome it? So inshallah, we'll be breaking now. When we come back, I mean, after Maghrib, inshallah, let us look at this negative aspect of it in relation to addiction. We'll come back, inshallah, in 15 minutes. By 10 minutes to 8, let us, reconvene, inshallah.
Right.
Thank you so much, for those insights. And I look forward to seeing us back in 15 minutes. Jazakumullahu khairan. Assalamu alaikum.
Alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alameen.
Yes.
We're just waiting for other panelists to join. Is Masood Ramadan there? May Allah accept ibadah. Over to you, Prof.
Jazakumullahu khairan jaza. Thank you so much. I mean, thank you so much for that opportunity to pray Maghrib. May Allah accept it for us. Now, I mean, talking about the negative aspects, some of which we have talked about. I mean, I did give you a hint of what do you think about, I mean, addiction to social media? Let me start with Camila here.
Okay, assalamu alaikum. So I'm going to speak from my own experience because, you know, I've been using social media for a while, and alhamdulillah, I had the opportunity to grow out of my bad habits on Instagram, on Twitter. So I would say that if you have a stressful situation at home, social media can be used as a form of escapism. So you're escaping the situation at hand and just scrolling through your phone, and just the actual physical like sensation of using your finger over and over again is a psychological thing. And that is what social media is designed to do, for you to engage. We make what social media is, all of us, the things we share, the stuff we write about, the trends we follow, and that's what makes other people want to engage, because people who are doing something similar is doing something relatable, and we like that. So I would say that the negative aspects would be about actually just scrolling and not having a purpose. Why are you scrolling? Are you looking for a certain video in particular? You want to be entertained. Everybody wants to be entertained, but it can be like an only source of entertainment. And that could be the medium that you use over and over again. And from my experience, this is going to sound bad, but I was facing that kind of problem at home. So my solution was actually grab my prayer beads, tasbah, and actually keep my finger engaged, because I've been scrolling for like an hour and I'm just looking down. So I haven't stretched. It has a physical impact as well, because when you're sitting in one position for a while and you're doing one thing, excuse me, you're not doing anything else. So I would say that that is the only way that you're actually making yourself laugh. You're actually able to entertain yourself. So that's what I would say about addiction, just the things that I've faced.
Jazakumullah khairan jaza. You know, you bringing in the subha into it is really very interesting. You know, that's one way, an alternative way. I mean, if you are just scrolling for no purpose, you know, the subha, I mean, can be an alternative, which also can offer you rewards. Now, Masood, what do you see, I mean, in relation to addiction, how to get over it? Or do you think perhaps maybe, you know, I was discussing this addiction with somebody, said it depends on what you use social media for. Somebody was telling me, say, if you use it for business, you have to be it on it 24/7. Otherwise, you lose business. This is what, I mean, you know, that's what he told me. So, you know, so Masood, what do you think about this?
No, unlike Sister Camilla, I haven't gotten rid of my addiction to social media. But the thing is, like with social media, it's very easy to kind of get pulled into, because you might want to just check something or check a message, and before you know it, you've been scrolling on another app for like 2 hours, and the time is gone. So yeah, and that's the thing with like everything has to be good in moderation. Like it's not a problem using social media, but it's about how you kind of subsidize that and making sure you're not overly wasting time on social media. Like in the Quran and the Sunnah, it says that we're going to be accountable for everything that we see, everything that we read, everything that. So it's like we have to be careful to kind of balance it out. And I feel like for me, what works, especially with when it comes to like also balancing out social media and like school, for example, and social media and like my deen as well, because it's a big distraction, isn't it? So what I feel like I do is sometimes I basically take a fast from social media, and like that involves like, even if it's just removing it off my home screen, so it's not an easily accessible thing, or even just deleting the apps that I know that I frequently kind of go back to, and I'm just wasting time on, maybe for like a week or 2 weeks, I just delete it off my phone, and all of a sudden I just realize I have a lot more time. I can pick up my Quran, I can do revision, and it's more about trying to kind of balance it out, making sure you're spending enough time, doing, like, it's not inherently bad to use social media, but like I said, it's very easy to get addicted to it. So
Jazakumullah khairan jazaa. Brother Lawal, your perspective on this?
Yeah, it's funny in that social media at times we run to it as a distraction, and then you now need to find something to distract you from a distraction.
That's right.
So because like for people that do more with screen, there's this perspective about when you do more with screen, when you do 20 minutes, take away 20 seconds to look at something else, just to distract you, and then there's a way it balances your sight and all. But the reality of it is,
it appears that your audio is a little bit blurry.
Oh, okay. Is it better now?
Yeah, it's better now. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So, I said we are actually in it, but it's now on us by ourselves to help ourselves come out of it. And without mentioning any particular organization, and I think many of the apps that we use, for instance, on my phone, it reminds me that you've done an hour of screen this week, more than you did last week, or your last week performance is this week is better than last week. So you can by ourselves, with the gadget that we have, put ourselves in moderation, and it can modulate the way we do. And because largely, beyond the fanciness and the engages us to be busy and all of it, we are losing out on many other things. For instance, once there's addiction, there's just a thin line between addiction and then something that affects your mental health. Because once you're addicted and you can't have it, then you're troubled. So for anything you are troubled about, anxiety sets in, and then you are just moving. It's like a pattern. So yes, we can, at best, we should help ourselves. But I know people in the environment also indirectly help us. I know there are times my wife mentioned to me, like, you've been on your phone all this while, drop your phone. There are times you want to fight, but you do self-evaluation. Okay, that's true. Yeah, I've been on this phone for like a while. Okay, drop it and then go do something else. So we should help ourselves, and people around us also could try to help us.
Yes, I mean, thank you so much. I mean, it's all about discipline, isn't it? And a Muslim, whatever we do, we should be disciplined. Everything that we do, this is what Islam teaches us. It's discipline that stopped us to hold this program to go and pray Maghrib and come back. Yeah. If we had no discipline, we could have continued. Do you get the point? So discipline, a Muslim should not be dependent, on anything. You should be disciplined on it. A lot of the time, sometimes you won't believe this. I'm going to work, I get to close to the tram stop, and I remember that I've forgotten my phone. I don't go back. I just leave it at home and go to work. I don't bother. I just go to work. When I come back, then I see, so it's, but there are others who can't do that. They left their phone, they have to run back to pick it. I've left it. I come and I don't have the phone for the day. And you find out at the end of the day that, nothing has changed in your life. That's just the truth.
You're right. I think our generation needs to do better. In your period, you could have social reality with people. You talk more, you socialize better. But for my generation and the Z generation, practically life is all about social media. Without social media, they practically could not have a 10-minute conversation with anybody. So I give it to your generation, you are better with social reality. Ours is better reality.
Thank you very much. Now, thank you. The other question is, some parents sometimes are really very, very worried, and from the perspective of youth, how do parents get it wrong with their children and online issues? Sometimes maybe we overstretch in wanting to protect our children. So please, as youth, could you speak to this and advise parents? How do parents get it wrong? With their children, with online issues. Let me start with, Masood here again.
Well, in terms of how parents get it wrong with online issues, I think, it's always a tricky one, because you have to balance being that overbearing parents that's always, invading your child's privacy, quote unquote, and also, looking out for them as well. So I don't know. It's I feel like it's more about encouraging positive behavior on social media, encouraging them to you know, with social media, you can tailor it. You can, like, there's a lot of analytical whatever that they're building, you know, a profile on you, and they can tailor the kind of content you're seeing towards that person. I mean, it's a double-edged sword, but you can. It's more about. I feel like it's probably better to try to encourage your kids to, instead of trying to monitor like how much they're using. I mean, you can do that as well, but instead of being overbearing about how much they're using, what they're doing on there, it's more about encouraging them to have positive behavior and positive, you know, a positive way to use it and utilize it as a tool, because that's what it is. There's a lot of opportunities on social media, following the right people, you know, like on Instagram, for example. If you're following the, you know, like pages that have positive messages towards Islam, that have, you know, that are giving you content that are beneficial. So trying to encourage your kids to be more in tune with that and kind of tailor the content they're seeing around that, as opposed to always trying to fight them over, oh, you're on your phone too much, or you're this, that, too much. Because there's always going to be a justification, and at worst, it's going to even turn the kids against you, because they're, you know, it's all like, now they're hiding and now they're not showing what they're not trying to, you know, let you see that they're using their phone on there, and then it becomes a kind of slippery slope.
That's right. Brother Lawal, parents' attitude to monitoring children, where did they get it wrong, you think?
Yeah, I think the conversation must happen. And then it's now on the parents to find the right way to have this conversation with their children. And permit me to use the word bully. When you don't hold the conversation rightly, the children then run off to protect themselves against you knowing whatever thing they watch. But if we have it in a different way, be interested in what they watch, and then, because I believe that people with adequate knowledge of what they are doing that is right or wrong, they can by themselves make an informed decision. But when you come at them and say, touch your phone, you've been on the phone all day, without having the conversation of the danger, the opportunity, and the need for them to have it in moderation. So people, once they have a better understanding and grasp of events, they can by themselves have it. So I believe children should parents should change the way they communicate with their children. And then quickly, without taking another shot at a generation, my dad at the time mentioned that he thinks his generation is being treated by our generation. And what he meant by that was, while they were growing up, their parents could tell them, you are studying medicine, you are becoming a farmer, you are doing this. For my generation, the debate was about what he wants to do, and then I tell him what I want to do. He was looking forward to someday when he would tell me, go and study medicine. So we cheated him. And now he can't also get to tell us this is what you would do. But it's a reality. So it's on parents to now find a way to communicate better in an impactful manner that will make the children to see them as setting them up for success, rather than two people in friction, seeing competition as just drop your phone and wanting to exert that energy and father and parental rule of don't this and don't do this. So I think they should have the conversation. Let's look at the benefits of social media, the usage, leveraging on the positive, cutting off the negative. But the conversation must happen.
That's right. Camila, from the point of view of a mother, I mean, can you a female point of view in relation to parents monitoring?
Okay, so when I think about the leaders of social media, Zuckerberg, the people who did TikTok, and when you watch their interviews about why they don't use or don't allow their own children to use social media, it just makes me wonder, you know, like, okay, so my child and our children use social media, but you created this tool for us and you don't use it. Why is that? So that's the first thing. The second thing is that, okay, so you remember in the 90s when people were picking up books rather than phones. It's because they were copying their parents. So I feel that, okay, if I'm going to have, inshallah, when I do have children, or, you know, the children around me, am I talking to you when I put down my phone? Or am I still on my phone scrolling? Because children copy their parents. So right. I like the fact that Brother Lawal mentioned accountability. You're on your phone for a while. Okay, so am I reading enough books? Am I actually using social media in a way that somebody, a younger person around me or my child can actually copy me, because children will copy what you do rather than what you say. So I also think that in the way that, and the struggles that I've had in when I was using 5 accounts for social media, I sat down with a social media manager and I said, this is what I want to do. So I say that if your child is interested that much, okay, let's change that addiction, let's change that engagement into something that can benefit them a little bit more. Can they earn money? Okay. Is it halal? Okay. So I would say that if a child has a strength, and in a scenario where I'm using my social media too much and the child is following a different page, maybe I need to change my own behavior. Maybe that's what I need to do so that a child can read more books, because I'm reading more books. So I would say that, you think about the leaders that promote social media and I'm like, okay, that's inspiring for me, because if they're not allowing their children to have phones till the age of 6 and 7, why is that? Because their development, when you're tapping a phone, you don't actually get to write the letters, you tap the letters. So you're only using your thumbs. So you're actually not allowing your child to develop a little bit more. So these are things that are not easy, and it's just easy for me to say, but I just wanted to think about those things and say that to myself first, because when you look at documentaries about why these leaders and people who created these social networks do not allow their children, it allows me to kind of drill down and think to myself a little bit more. And I like that communication aspect with your child, that, I'm Nigerian, Yoruba, our parents always commanded us to do things, and maybe we lived in fear rather than understanding why they wanted to do something. So that communication is so important, because you can share your experience. This is what I did, and this is how I overcame it, and allow your child to kind of do what they need to do, but be a guiding star kind of thing. So that's what
and thank you so much. I mean, that's really a very, very reflective one in relation to, the creators of the system actually also monitoring their children, not letting them use it. We need to reflect over it. It's very, very, very deep. Now, to round up before we have the break, now briefly in just 1 minute each, I mean, what advice do you have to give children, to help them keep safe online? I mean, based on everything that you've talked about, the negativities, just very briefly, Brother Lawal.
Yeah, brothers and sisters, I think it's important we do a self-evaluation on our lives, take account of how we live our lives. If we have an hour to live a day, what minute do you dedicate to social media? Which do you develop to self-development, your academics, and it's particularly important for us to remember our social expectation and responsibilities. With that, then everything gets to be done in moderation. And finally, social media is less of a place where you can pick on your role models. Your role model should be people from your immediate environment, largely your parents or their peers. Because social media, what it presents to you as it is, virtual reality is virtual, it's not full reality, it is make-believe. So please do a self-evaluation, which I know that we all do. When I know I want to hear the truth, I know those I talk to. So we ourselves, we can do a self-evaluation, do an account of ourselves, and inshallah, we'll get it right.
Jazakumullah khair. Self-evaluation, that's really very, very good point. I mean, Masood, Ramadan, a word of advice?
In terms of advice, I'd say, everything's about moderation. So it's all doing in moderation. Like, as much time as you're spending, on your phone, on social media, so make sure you're also investing that kind of time in your Quran, in your studies and everything else. And also with social media, it's also about, like Brother Lawal said, it's self-moderation as well. Making sure that you're controlling what you're seeing. You're following the right pages that, are giving you reminders, pages that are things that, like, there's a lot of content on social media, and, a lot of it's for shock factors, something that to catch your attention, and is continuous and it's non-stop, and it's very easy to get pulled into that. But when you start like when you start following the kind of right pages, the pages that are going to put you on the right path, that are giving you reminders and, you know, things that like it might even force to kind of drop your phone. It might remind you that you need to read the Quran, you haven't prayed today, so you can, you know, it's kind of just you know, self kind of regulating and making sure that, you know, you're not too, you know, you're not spending too much time and too much, you know, effort in using social media.
Jazakumullah khaira jaza. Camila.
Okay, so I would say that looking at my actions and what I've been through and the addiction and the overcoming the addiction and using another alternative like Tesbih because I was scrolling on for this many hours, I've come to the conclusion that I would ask myself, am I a leader or am I a follower? Am I following or am I leading? I love the point about the reminders that you get and, you know, and actually using that in your daily life so that you are using it rather than just feeding information into you that you're not actually subconsciously or you're not really thinking about it. So I would say that I would advise that you get a journal and you reflect on what you're grateful for every day, what Allah has blessed you with, the eyes that you're using to scroll that social media, Allah has blessed you with it. So I would say that if you're scrolling on social media and you decide whether you're a leader or follower, reflect on that. Think about all the things that you've scrolled on social media and actually have a conversation with people. We're definitely living in a world where I can't put down my phone sometimes, but through the things that I've been scrolling, I saw a page that didn't like promote my views as a Muslim or didn't allow me to think of Allah in a little bit more than I should. So I would say that think about what you're watching, think about what you've just seen and write it down so that you can make a choice to carry on following that page if you're involved, or actually, you know, talk about the things that you've seen, because we're consumers. But when you're a consumer, you ask yourself, are you consuming or are you the one who's giving people something to consume in a positive way or a negative way? So yeah, inshallah.
I mean, you know, we can really end well on that, I mean, point, and we have to think about the positives, and it's about balancing, you know, anything we do, where the positives are higher than the negatives, then we keep on doing it. But wherever we are able to evaluate, it's about evaluation. You know, let me give you a hint. You know, during these holidays, our grandchildren came to stay with us, and I found out that, I mean, one of my grandchildren, there was a particular program on YouTube. Anytime he has his free time, he watches that program consistently all the time. I started getting worried that, I mean, what's wrong with, so, but I didn't talk, 8 years old. So what I did was that, and they are in episodes. What I did was that, well, I just dedicated on one afternoon, when he started watching it, I just sat down and started watching it with him. They didn't object. We just sat down, and it was about 30 minutes. After it finished, you know what I did? I just asked him, okay, look, we've watched this program. Can you tell me 3 benefits?
Yeah.
You know, I just asked him, I said, can you tell me 3 benefits that they can
what
derive
do you get from that? Yeah.
And, you know, you started, I said, you know, so I got him thinking. You know, so I said, well, I mean, if you cannot really think of it, I just enjoy, I just relax with it. Is that enough? You know, if you are watching something for 30 minutes every day, I mean, you should be able to start thinking of what do I benefit from it, rather than, I know he was a young, but he will start thinking about, I mean, these type of things. I thought it was really very effective. So, I mean, thank you so much, I mean, for your insights into this. Social media is here to stay. We cannot, I mean, neglect it, but it's a balance. So we hope, inshallah, using Islamic discipline, we'll be able to balance. And I believe that there will be questions. And there's also some discussion going on the chat box. You know, audience can have a look at that. I mean, in relation to physical programs, which can take people away from, I mean, virtual social media programs. So we'll come back, inshallah, to answer questions. But let's have a brief, I mean, interlude before we come back. Control room, please.
My parents chose to name me Old Kent Road Islamic and Cultural Centre as a baby, and when the time came for me to start my family, my daughter was also named at this masjid.
Same as my story, I was also born and named there. I attended Maracas and used to play football after classes with my mates.
The Old Kent Road Mosque and Islamic Cultural Centre, MANUK, is a community where all Muslims enjoy the bond of brotherhood and the sweetness of sisterhood.
Old Kent Road Masjid has played an important role in my spiritual and social development and that of my young family.
It is a home, a place of solace for everyone, especially the Muslims of African descent living in London, United Kingdom.
This is a heritage we treasure and must preserve for the next generation. We need you to make this dream come true.
Kindly donate and encourage your family, friends, and loved ones to contribute towards the rebuilding of our mosque.
May Allah bless and reward you abundantly. Allahumma Amin.
Please help build our mosque.
Yes, thank you so much for those clips, reminding us about, the ongoing rebuild project of the Old Kent Road Mosque and Islamic Cultural Center. We remind us about this all the time on this platform, and we want to thank everybody, who has been contributing. We finished the first phase. The building is there, the structure magnificently, and it's all the money that you'll be contributing that has helped towards this. We have now moved on to phase 2+. Inshallah, by the time we complete phase 2+, we'll be able to move back. Phase 2+ will take us to full completion of 3 floors: the basement, the ground floor, and first floor. And we'll be able to move back in to be using it. And then from there, we'll be able to complete. Now, in order for us to be able to do this, we've launched a special Qard Hasan, a benevolent loan. Qard Hasan is an Islamic, principle in relation to, loaning Allah. There are many verses, about 6 verses in the Quran, talking about us loaning Allah a goodly loan. This loan will be repaid back. We launched this about 3 weeks ago, and we want to encourage everyone who has the ability to be able to do this or spread the word. The flyer is being displayed now. Please spread this wide. What we want to do is that we want to, we need 100 people who can loan us £25,000 each. And that will give us the £2.5 million that we need to complete the phase 2+. We are now in a temporary, accommodation. We pay a lot of money. It's setting us back. So if we're able to complete the phase 2+, we have 3 full floors to use. So we'll be able to move back into the permanent premises, and then we can then put our money where our mouth is. So we are really, really, hoping that I will be able to raise that. And we want to do this in a very short time, because the contractors indicate that, for us to be able to complete the phase 2+ by next Ramadan, they need to go back onto the construction site by October. So we call on everyone, that's the flyer here. It indicates that phase 2+ to completion, will enable us to move back into the mosque. We need 100 people are needed to loan us £25,000 each. And there will be commitment to pay back. We'll pay you back, with no interest. There will be proper documentation. We'll give you a promissory note indicating that after 2 years, whenever you want your money back, we'll pay it back to you, and you are assured of reward from Allah, because, there are verses of the Quran that indicates that anybody who loans Allah, a loan like this, Allah will reward them manifoldly here in this world and in the hereafter. And this will also be based on confidentiality. Nobody will be exposed financially in relation to the fact that, some people want to live their life in a very quiet way. They don't want, they don't want to be exposed financially. So for that reason, there's confidentiality. So please, the names of those you can get in touch with are listed there. Imam Tajuddin Salami's phone number is there. Myself, Mashoud Badeni, my phone number is there. The president, Alhaji Idris Elitu, and our chair for fundraising, Alhaja Bilkisu Savage. The phone numbers are there. Please, let's keep acting. Let's push, talk to people so that you can be able to get this done. We hope, inshallah ta'ala, that you put every effort into this. Bismillah, and may Allah make it easy for every one of us. If you have any questions on this, Qadr Hassan Phase 2+, please get in touch. You can raise questions on it when we get to question time. The long and short of it is that we need 100 people to loan us £25,000 each. And within 2 years, we'll be committing to pay back. You get your full money back, and then you will have contributed to the building of the mosque. It's an opportunity to put your name in history. All those 100 people who contribute to make this happen, their name will be in history, indicating that, well, they facilitated us to move back into the permanent building and then for the remaining parts of the building to continue. May Allah make it easy for every one of us, and may Allah continue to replenish our pockets. So inshallah, we have 15 minutes now. We go to questions and answers, and our panel are still around here. Hopefully, inshallah, to answer any questions that we might have. Control room, any questions, please?
Assalamu
Wa alaikum assalam.
Somebody is asking, please, how can one create a page to benefit others and earn money on social media?
Okay. Let me start with Lawal, Brother Lawal.
Yeah, so majorly it's if you don't have material things that you sell, possibly service or content, let's assume you start by pushing up Islamic related content. Majorly what people do is they convert they monetize their page. I know it's possible in I don't know if it's now possible in Nigeria, but I know it's possible in UK, US, and a few other countries. And wherever you are in the world, I know Twitter, formerly Twitter, X now, they've monetized their page that when you subscribe and people engage you when you push up content, you get money paid, I think every 4 weeks or thereabouts. So there's a way to monetize all of your social media accounts, but the goal is to always have content that you push that people want to see. So you could make it an everyday thing, every week thing, but I believe the sister has better information because I know she's been doing a lot better than I do with regards to social media activity and monetization.
Yes, I was coming to Camila because she's using it to promote her own brand as well. So if you give us an insight into that, Camila, please.
Okay, assalamu alaikum. So what I would say is that social media, depending on what platform you want to use, if it's Instagram, people love lovely done pages, professional, very beautiful. Talk to a social media manager about your layouts. Talk to them about what you want to do and how to present it, because that's what engages people. Your videos, the longer people watch it, that is something that allows people to actually make a connection. So you start with image, and then you start with information. You said you wanted to benefit others, so be very specific. Is it Islamic reminders? Is it motivation? What information do you want to pass on that I didn't know? So pinpoint that, because that's the psychology behind a page that does well. It's informative, it's vulnerable. That is what connects people. And that is why people want to watch you, because you open yourself up and you really talk to people about your experience, what you got out of this, and how you can help others achieve something that people are not talking about. Is it that you want to teach what something in Arabic means? Is it that you want to help them manage their Islamic responsibilities in the workplace? So be very, very specific. Talk to a social media manager, earning money, organize yourself. Do you want to post once a week, 3 times a week, 4 times a week at 11 o'clock? Find out when people engage at the best time and be consistent. It's okay. You don't have to be on social media every single day. I don't recommend it because it could be damaging. So if you want to do that, put your post on draft so that at 3 o'clock, you can actually schedule it so that you can actually, you don't need to be on the app itself. It does it for you. There are like, what do they call it? Like companies like Otter, Rapidly. They will help you to plan out what you want to put out on each platform so that it doesn't put the pressure on you. So when I was doing so many platforms, these are things that I learned. If it's YouTube, Do you want to speak to Muslims about bullying? Do you want to speak about Islamophobia? Do videos that present yourself confidently. Look at this lighting that I've got. This isn't natural lighting. So you need to sometimes put equipment that allows you to be physically, physically polished. So when you're putting out content, make sure that it looks very visually engaging, bright colors, a lovely black background. So these are the things that I've picked up, and inshallah, you'll be able to meet your aims. But these are just a few things that I've picked up, and inshallah, I've found that there are Muslims who are doing social media. Some people love to put out their fees, which doesn't always work for me, but there are people who you can ask. So yeah, inshallah,
thank you very much. Inshallah, those are very, very useful hints. I hope, if you don't mind, if anybody wants to get in touch with you, to get more information on this, we hope, inshallah, to be able to forward those to you. Any other further questions, control room?
Somebody, Lenovo tab E10, please unmute yourself. You have your hand raised. Hello? Okay. Now, while we're waiting for that, I think there is something that is posted here on the Q&A by Brother Jalil. I think it would be better you post it in the charts, because that way everyone would see it, because it's an information, it's not a question. So if you can just please put it on charts, people will see it better there than on the Q&A. So that's all for now, sir. No other questions.
Okay, Jazakumullah khaira jaza. We hope, inshallah ta'ala, that we have enjoyed tonight's episode. We want to thank panel members, starting with Camila Dwelade. Thank you so much, for your insights and also for your advices, your hints. They're really very useful.
Thank you.
Yeah, we really appreciate your thoughts. And also to, Brother Lawal, Allah, thank you so much for your insights, and also for your comments, and also Masood, thank you very much for also your insights and your presentations. Social media is not un-Islamic. It depends. It's similar to every tool. It depends on how you use it, because you find out that a lot of the time, people want to talk about social media in complete negative terms from an Islamic perspective. Actually, I had, when WhatsApp started in the early times, I think I've mentioned it on this platform before, because that's the only medium that I use. I don't use all the other ones. But this person wanted something from me. I said, I asked him, a very close Muslim brother. I asked him, do you have WhatsApp? I want to sell you. He said, do you use WhatsApp? You Muslim? You use WhatsApp? So he was saying it in a way as if, I was doing something that is completely haram. I said, well, he said, with all those things, bad things that goes on it, and the whole world itself, we don't walk closing our eyes. There are so many bad things happening around us. So you just try to work through the minds. And that is how a Muslim lives. You cannot really ostracize yourself completely from the world. You have to find a way of walking through all the minds Islamically. So may Allah make it, easy for every one of us. So we thank you, and we hope, inshallah ta'ala, we will have us back by next week. Now, don't forget the campaign, the 100 by 25,000 K campaign. Anyone who wants further information can contact the Imam, can contact myself, can contact the president of MAN UK, and also can contact Alaja Savage, the fundraising chair. So Jazakumullah khaira jaza. I'll hand over now back to Malam Abdul Ghani to sign us off for tonight. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi, Prof. Sorry, I don't know if I missed out on anything. We were going to review the time. I don't know if that has been done.
Oh, yes. Sorry. Oh, and I did mention it at the beginning. Sometimes, you forget these things. Thank you so much. We were thinking of, because of the time of Maghrib, times are changing now. We had to break for Maghrib. What we were thinking was, either to start at 6 o'clock, which perhaps, I mean, some might consider too early. You know, a lot of the time people are still on the road by 6 o'clock, or we move it to after Maghrib. You know, we start from 8 o'clock and to 9. So we'll be safe. You know, after we pray Maghrib, we start and then we finish, I mean, before Isha. So we just wanted to see, we want to have some consultation to see, I mean, general, just a rough guide of what is the preference that members on this platform will want. Will 6 o'clock be fine, or is it 8 o'clock? So if we can have just perhaps maybe a few comments or show of hands, I mean, in relation to this. Now, let us start by starting with the, okay, 8 p.m. Okay, somebody says 8 p.m. Yes, you can put it in the chat. Then we evaluate. I mean, if you feel that 8 p.m. is fine, just put 8 p.m. in the chat. If you think it's 6 p.m., put 6 p.m. in the chat, and then we'll quickly have a review quickly, and then I agree, because we have to change this by next week. I mean, so that otherwise we will have to break again for Maghrib. So let's quickly do that. Just type your preference into the chat box, you know, either 8 p.m. or 6 p.m., please. Let's do that within 2 minutes. So the chat is not working for everyone. It's interesting.
It's working now. It was not enabled before, but it's enabled now and people can chat, please.
Okay.
If you can.
So please, I mean, let's see what people say. If you can just do that quickly now.
Can Prof go through the options again, sir?
We have a few answers in both the chat and the quick Q&A.
And the Q&A, yes, I could see that.
So the chat is coming.
But it appears everybody is typing 8 o'clock, 8 o'clock.
Yeah, it looks like 8 p.m.
Yeah. Okay.
We
There's
only
one
have
6 p.m.
6 p.m. Just
two 6 p.m.s.
Okay, 2, yeah.
Yeah. 8 p.m., 8 p.m. So mostly 8 p.m. I mean, in order not to, I mean, let's go for 8 p.m. then. So inshallah, I mean, from next week, we will start from 8 p.m., inshallah, 8 to 9. So from next Wednesday, please, I mean, pass the word around, let people know that all you who believe from next Wednesday will start from 8 p.m. until perhaps maybe after the winter time change again. So thank you so much for your time. And I'll hand over back to Malam Alawali Hassan. Jazakumullah khairan jaza. Wassalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillah. A very big thank you to all our panelists, especially for those of you who also contributed here and there. Your presence is greatly appreciated. We pray Allah Azza wa Jalla to be with all of us. Now, let me just remind us, September is a big time to remember at MANUK. We got a lot of activities from Markaz, from the elders, everyone. We will be very, very busy. That is the more reason why I want to appeal to you. Whenever you get to the mosque, we are keeping a file of the mosque users. Through that, we'll be able to get across to you. We'll be able to tell you exactly what is happening, where it is happening. And of course, don't forget, we have the sports day. Yes, the fun day, September fun. A lot of it, inshallah. Make sure you keep in touch with the mosque. We pray Allah Azza wa Jalla to be with each and every one of us. And for those who donated, we say a very big thank you to you. We are still expecting all the pledges. And don't forget, we also appreciate those who contributed, who donated fruit, drinks, everything towards the Markaz Sports Day. Jazakumullahu khairan jaza. As my parting shot today, I just want to remind us that on social media, you will only see the glitz. Yes, you will not see the glooms. Whenever I'm eating turkey, roasted, or barbecue, or whatever, that is what I'll show you. But when I have to be in Palangolo and I'm just soaking my curry, I won't show it on social media. Don't be taken in. Please do everything in moderation, especially as Muslims. We have to account for every second of our life. We are always on duty. We are always available. It's not a matter of I'm not available. You are always available. Presence of mind, presence of everything. We pray Allah Azza wa Jalla to accept all our ibadah. Allahumma ameen. Next week, inshallah, we shall be coming up with another exciting topic, valuable contributions, inshallah. Make sure you don't miss it. And of course, all you who believe will be coming up, inshallah, next week, 8 o'clock. Please remember, tell others, 8 o'clock, inshallah. That's how far we can go on the program today. I want to urge us to join us again, inshallah. I remain forever yours, Abdulgani Wadawani Hassan. Till next week, inshallah. I say assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
وعليكم السلام.
يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. إنا عرضنا الأمانة على السماوات والأرض والجبال فأبين أن يحملنها وأشفقن منها وحملها الإنسان إنه كان ظلوما جهولا.
Choose which space your bricks of barakah will build. Old Kent Road Mosque in the heart of London needs your urgent support. Donate your share now to invest in your akhirah, rebuild the house of Allah and support our growing community. Phase 1 has been completed and £3 million is needed to complete the next phase. Stack your sadaqah with bricks of barakah. Donate today by visiting launchgood.com/bricks of barakah.